how to talk to your partner about your unusual fetish. So this is a very touchy topic, which can be different and is actually going to be different for every single person that's watching this video of mine. The information that I'm going to give you in this video is completely based on 25 years of experience that I have in the adult entertainment industry, predominantly as a dominatrix, but also life experience and other avenues of the adult industry. Also a little bit of a personal side to this for me, and that has to do with the fact that I have been married twice, and in both of my marriages I came to find out that my first husband was bisexual, very bisexual, and my second husband was 100% gay. Now, this is something that you need to think of for yourself first and foremost, is when it comes to this unusual fetish that you have, or just a fetish in general, something that isn't, should we say, the traditional sort of vanilla sexual preferences, you have to ask yourself first and foremost, how important is it in your life? For example, I'm just going to use the mildest of all fetishes as an example here right now, and this is a foot fetish. So let's say that you have a foot fetish, and it is literally your only turn on is feet. So you enjoy having sex with your partner, but in the end, in order for you to orgasm in any shape or form, it needs to be with feet. So you can come, if you're a man, on feet, or if you're a woman, you need feet by your face, or whatever the case, you can't reach orgasm unless there's feet present and close by. I would say that that is a fetish that consumes your sexual life completely. If it's just something that turns you on once in a while, and amongst your sort of conservative sexual life, or normal, in society's eyes, normal sexual relations, you fantasize about it once in a while, that would be a very much a part-time fetish. So I like to think of fetishes in general as sort of cravings. So most of my clientele, they they have fantasies and such that sort of consume them once in a while, and then they have to act on it and get it out of their system. Sometimes they'll contact me 3 or 4 times in a row to act out a particular fetish interest of theirs, and then I won't hear from them for 6 months, a year, maybe a month or 2. That's pretty standard. Generally, my clientele, I'll hear from them on average once every month or 2. There are exceptions, and there are clients I have that contact me weekly, sometimes twice a week. And when they haven't contacted me, they disclose to me that they've spent the entire week, for example, masturbating about their fetish or enacting it themselves without my help. That would be a full-time fetish. So I'm sure that all of you can relate to the fact that fantasies do change. I myself can disclose that what I was fantasizing about, or in my fantasies that I had 10 years ago, are completely different fantasies that I have now. But they are recurring. So certain things that turned me on 5 years ago suddenly pop up again. And then I get engrossed in it for a short time, and then it's just not something I'm too interested in anymore. This is also why relationships fail, because people like variety. And when they're having sex with the same person all the time, it gets a little mundane. But that brings me to the next part of disclosing to your partner. So I would have a lot of questions that I would ask myself before making the decision to disclose. And the first question is, how long has your relationship been going on? And what is the seriousness of it? So in other words, are you married to this partner that you're thinking of disclosing to? Is this partner just a girlfriend that is an occasional booty call? Is this partner somebody that you've been married to for 25 years and have grown children with, or children with in general? So a lot of people from the latter group that have been married for, let's say, 20 years, and they're thinking about disclosing this fantasy, guaranteed that fantasy or that fetish of theirs is probably not something that they've had for that 25 years. If they have, and now you're watching this video to try to get some help or insight into how to disclose something to a partner you've had of 25 years, well, that brings out a whole bunch of new questions. What is it that you would gain by telling the person? So, me, I'm a very honest person. I hate lying in a relationship. So just the guilt of lying to somebody would consume me, and I wouldn't be able to do it. I would have to just keep things very transparent and keep it very real so that I had a clear conscience in my everyday life and or during moments or events where I am going out to explore something that is outside of the relationship. I would really need my partner to know what I'm doing. I would feel completely horrible and guilty going off to do something and they didn't know about it, unless it was a surprise for them. That's just me. And surprisingly, because it was a long marriage, they chose right in telling them, and the person was accepting of it. Now here's where the problem comes in. Those same people that have told me those stories and have disclosed that they, that disclosed their fetish to their partner, have also followed up and told me how that ended up working out. And as women, we are somewhat taught from a very young age that satisfying our husband is our main goal. Taking care of him, nurturing him, that's just what women were sort of raised in my generation as well to think, that we are here on earth to take care of our families, and if we're lucky enough to have a husband, to take care of him. That would be a good woman as well. So when our husband of so many years comes to us and tells us that they have this fetish, and it seems rather harmless, perhaps, let's again use a foot fetish. Now I'll get into the deeper ones afterwards and some of my thoughts on that, but let's use a foot fetish. Then, sure, I'll cater to that. No problem, let's try it out. But the thing is that when you are getting involved with somebody that you've known for a long time, that you wanted to tell this to because you were hoping they'd be into it, agrees to it, they might agree to it, but actually being into it or even having any desire for it or being any good at it, that's a completely different thing. So now they're just sort of going through the moves and the motions, and you've directed them and told them how to do it, and it feels mechanical. And then suddenly the fantasy and the fetish is not really there anymore, because you kind of feel stupid now. Because she's basically, or he, whatever, I'm using a heterosexual couple as an example here. The woman's just kind of going through the moves based on what her husband has told her to do. And she's not really good at it. And she doesn't look like she's into it. And you can feel 100% that she's only doing it because you want her to. And that is that's shitty. It's like being in a relationship and